where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 22 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name is Chet Rovers. With me as usual is John Denton.
Hello.
John and I write about games for a living, so we play a lot of them, and over the next indeterminate amount of time we're going to take it in turns to go through our two separate top 10 list of the 10 games we've been playing over the past 7 days. 10's the game we've been playing the least, number 1's the game we've been playing the most, and hopefully it's going to be current and stuff. So John, number 10.
My number 10 is Electronic Arts Mixed Martial Arts, a game that sporadically appears on my top 10 list. I was playing it with my little nephew this weekend, who came round and likes to stick on as many games as he can in the space of about 20 minutes because he's got no attention span. And I think I might have converted him to the fine art of violence and fighting.
How do you handle a situation like that? Don't you just have to let him win?
Yeah, I kind of did let him win a few and then beat him on a few, but it's one of those games that you don't mind losing on because it's just funny every time whatever happens. Yeah. So we were just beating the tar out of each other. He's not so young that he can't play. He's like 12 as well, so he's not so young that he's incapable of playing.
Okay, fair enough. It's annoying because that's on my shelf, and one day I'd like to say let's have a match online, but it sucks that
no,
can't do
can't
that.
Happen.
That's a real shame. It's still great then, I take it.
Yeah, I'll play it every time I see someone who wants to play it until UFC comes out, whenever that might be. But that team knows what they're doing, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Some people prefer UFC, a lot of people in fact, but not me. Not me, sir. Not me.
Okay. Alright, my number 10, funnily enough, is Bellator MMA Onslaught.
Oh shit, is that out?
It is, yeah.
Shit, why don't I have it? Are you going to tell me why I don't have it?
Yeah, you really you don't want it. It's I only did the demo.
Yeah.
It's the UFC games but dumbed down a million times. Everything looks primitive, it's stripped down visually, it's not very nice, it's simplistic as hell, it's unresponsive, it's ugly. It's a rubbish MMA game. What is Bellator?
It's now the second biggest promotion in America. It was quite a small promotion, and then the second biggest one got bought by the UFC. The Japanese one died, so yeah, they're the second biggest now. Fighting a round cage. They do tournaments, tournament structure with like weekly fights. It's quite good, to be honest. It's quite good, but it's hard to keep up with. There's so much MMA out there.
Yeah. When I saw the names of the two playable fighters, I assumed it was like developers who'd buffed themselves up and they were just appearing as themselves. But I didn't realise
it wasn't.
No, I guess it must be real people in that case. First of all, even if you really are obsessed with MMA and you think, what the hell, I might as well, I want the game, I'll get some enjoyment out of it, because it is, but it's like button bash, very simplistic, but it's 1,200 points, and it shouldn't be 1,200 points, like a lot of things that are just slapping that price tag on Xbox Live stuff. That shouldn't be that much, but it's all very punchy, kicky, very simplistic. And then I checked what the downloadable content was, and you have to buy moves.
Oh no!
Everything's simple punches and kicks until you can buy a spinning back fist, you can buy a special kick, and it's like, knock your opponents out with this move. They're 320 Microsoft points each.
Oh my god!
And there's plenty of them, and it's just like, no thank you. That's even worse than that bloody Wrecked situation where it brought out DLC on day one. I mean, rubbish.
That's really bad.
You should have a look at it. Maybe you'll...
Yeah, no, I didn't even realise it was out. It was announced, and then I first heard of it when I was watching the Stream 3, and then immediately the EA conference followed, and Dana White came out and announced the big deal, and those people making that Bellator game must have just been like, oh man.
You might find something enjoyable.
Yeah, I'll definitely download the trial and all the special moves.
Yeah, indeed. Although you'd need to buy the full version to use those, wouldn't you?
Oh yes, very true. My number 9 is a game that we have played probably too much in our lives, Tower Blocks Deluxe.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot it existed, and I just was skimming through my games on Xbox and saw it was there, and I was like, yeah, I'll have a go. And yeah, it's just the same fucking banal shit that it always was, but completely compelling nonetheless. If you haven't played it, you have to stack a massive tower of yellow blocks by pressing A as a crane swings them overhead. So you have to line it up for the middle, press A, boom, another one. You can go all the way up through the air, up through the stratosphere, into space, and it gets quite tense and stressful. It's fun. But not something that you should spend as much time as we probably have on.
That through no fault of our own, it is that gripping though. It can compel an entire room of people like nothing else. So it's hard to hate it. It's just a ridiculously simple idea. Even having a look at it could descend into a couple of hours lost. So I tried. I only had one game, turned it straight off. Because I didn't want to get sucked in again. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, my number 9 is Applejack 2 on the Xbox 360. Did you see the review on Eurogamer?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
Isn't that's probably the first... I can't remember a time where an Xbox Live indie game has got front-of-site space, like a prominent review on a site like Eurogamer, ever, I don't think.
No, maybe at the very beginning when it first launched. I'm guessing that's just purely guesswork, but no, not that I can remember.
Yeah, it was. So that was a surprise, and it got 9 out of 10. So I downloaded it. I don't know anything about the first Applejack game, but this is basically Super Mario 2, the Western version of Super Mario 2, which is Doki Doki Panic.
Oh yeah.
It looked, even the menu screen is the box art from the game, but with a guy with an apple for a head. It's really nice. It's you jump on enemies, you pick them up, you throw them at other enemies, and I did the free trial, which was about 10 minutes long. There was some really smart puzzles. There was a nice, humorous intro. It seemed really nice. But when it came up and said, "Do you want to pay 80?" I mean, 80 points is nothing. It's like the price of an app. And at the time, I thought, if this was an app and I could play it on my phone, that would be fine. So I didn't go for it. But the more I thought about it, it was nice to play a platformer on a control pad. Because nowadays, most platformers, you end up playing them on a phone, and it's not a perfect fit. So I might go back and actually download it, because it seemed like a smart little game.
Yeah, if you've got 80 points hanging around.
That's just shrapnel, isn't it? That probably equates to the same price as something on the App Store, doesn't it?
I'm sure it does.
Very good from what I played, I have to say.
Applejack 2.
Yeah.
One for the core gamers.
Indeed. Oh dear. I did.
My number 8 is Portal 2.
Oh.
Portal 2. Again, the nephew wanted to play it, and I tell a lie, I didn't play it. I watched him play the opening 40 minutes, I'd say, and I was reminded just how utterly magnificent that game is. Every inch of its... I was going to say mise-en-scène. I don't really want to say it, but I can't think. Every inch of... Yeah, whatever. So I said it now. The puzzles, the wit, the script, everything about it. I don't know if I'm going to play it again now. I will play it again one day. But it was just nice to just see it again in action and watch, a young kid's face be lit up by such a magnificent piece of work.
It is a masterpiece. And it's still sitting on my shelf, and I will go through it again. I'm still hoping they're going to drop another free DLC pack on us, but... seems a bit unlikely at this point, but you can never put that past Valve. It's always it's always possible. But yeah, that game's a masterpiece. I'm coming up to a point where I need to go through it again, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think I will join you.
My number 8 is some film I watched in the last week. Ha ha. Because you just watched that. Never mind.
Fucking hell, that was worse than my Apple joke.
My number 8 is 37 Days to Die on Xbox Live Arcade. No, sorry, Xbox Live Indie Games.
You're all about indie games this week.
Downloading that Applejack game reminded me that when that service first came out, I mean, you and I did it all the time. We just download 5 or 6. One of them might be pretty surprisingly good, but you're guaranteed 3 of them are going to be hilariously funny.
Yeah.
So I found the picture of the main screenshot for 37 Days to Die was 2 women, but they looked kind of like men just because the artwork wasn't very good. So I thought, is that going to be a part of it? I don't know. But actually, the artwork in the game is very good. The opening is comic book panels, and it tells a story that's basically the Hunger Games, although they call them the Gladiator Games. And there's a girl, and it's the Hunger Games. I don't know much about that. I know the outline of the story, and that's what this follows. And And I mean, I assume it's not the guy's English is not the guy's first language, or his storytelling skills are not perfect, because it is quite amusing the way the story unfolds. A girl goes to see her sick mother, and the little sister goes, "Oh God, thank God you're still here. What would we do without you?" And there's the next frame, there's a robot saying, "You have been selected for the Gladiator Games," and then she gets thrown into the arena, and it turns into Geometry Wars. And it's just a really, really ho-hum remake of Geometry Wars. But half of the enemies...
Good name, though.
What, 37 Days to Die?
Yeah, if you're going to make something.
I suppose so. I thought it was going to be a cop thriller. But it's just a really mediocre... Geometry Wars thing, but I don't think I don't think the people that work in that space have any say on how long the demo lasts. I think it's just 10 minutes as standard, and they can't do anything to do that because it stopped after 10 minutes and 8 minutes are cutscenes. So you start playing it and then it stops. Do you want to buy it? Well, not really.
37 Ways to Die. 37 Days to Die. 37 Ways to Die.
Days. I think it's days.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Type in 37 if you want to find it. It'll be there.
Talking of days and ways to die, my number 7 is a game called Plague Inc. on the iPhone. Our good buddy, Mr. DT David Turner, recommended this to me on Twitter. And it turns out it's actually almost exactly the same game as another game called Pandemic 2.5, also on the iPhone, which Eurogame did a couple of months ago. But nonetheless, it's a game about you are a virus, and the aim of the game is to kill everyone in the world. And it's really, really unpleasant. You start off... the game screen's like a world map, basically, and you pick your country where you want to start your virus. So I picked like Chad, West Africa, and you'll start infecting people, and then as you do, little bubbles appear on the screen, DNA bubbles, so you quickly tap them, you get DNA points, and you can use them to evolve your virus and make it like resistant to antibiotics, make it resistant to heat, all that sort of stuff. And eventually you start wiping out the world's population, and within about 5 minutes of game time I killed 5.6 billion people. And there's like a news ticker at the top of the screen which talks about the sort of socio-economic state of the world and what each country's up to. So like they might shut their borders, or one country might go into anarchy because so many people are dying. And it's like quite an interesting little comment on the state of the world's healthcare in a really grim way, and quite a compelling game. And I was more compelled by it when I thought it was its own thing, but then I discovered there's this other game out there that's exactly the same, and I just want to know which one came first, really, because it's a good idea and it's executed very well.
Which one's better, though?
I don't know. I've only played this one, and this is really good. So, yeah, even if this one is better but is a complete rip-off of the other one, it sullies it somewhat. But it was a good recommendation, and it's a fine game, although it's not exactly enjoyable to play it, watching Africa just turn to red and watching your death counter hit 2 billion. That's not a very nice thing to do, really.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit... Is it free?
69 penneth.
Yeah, there is something... Yeah, that sounds interesting, but yeah, like you said, it doesn't sound pleasant.
It's not pleasant, but it's not malicious either. I think it's more... I took it more as a commentary than anything outwardly nasty.
Okay. That sounds potentially interesting. My number 7, as I am still talking about Xbox Live indie games, the best thing you can do when you're on there is pick something because you like the title. So I downloaded the trial of Bureau, Shattered Slipper. And it's actually really, I mean, I won't say really good, but you can just see the amount of work that's gone in. I always assume it's one guy making these, but it's potentially more than that. But do you remember that internet video, the famous internet video of some bizarre Japanese animation where there's a car chase and the second car is made up of 2 action men bending... You know the one, we've watched it a million times.
Oh, the 2 gay action men.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what it was called, because I tried searching for it earlier. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a video that a lot of people have seen. It's done in that animation style, so it looks kind of good, but kind of old hat as well.
Right.
But it's one of those... have you ever played one of those CSI Miami games where...
I'm aware of their work.
Yeah, it's like that. It's a combination of QTEs, a really, really bad story. Your main character's a female detective with... I mean, if you think Lara Croft at some point has had big breasts, when she rocks up on her motorbike, it's a joke. I wish I could have taken a screenshot. But yeah, so QTEs, you take part in some gun battles and quick time events, and then you compile evidence, and then they show you a video clip, and then they say what happened, answer the questions. It's just like a neat little, very accessible kind of crime solving thing, and it's really, again, as I said, I don't think these people have a lot of say on how long the trial lasts, because the trial ended. I basically decided, you know what, I'll chuck 80 points this way, the way of this, but it was still in the middle of the tutorial. When it got to the end and it said, do you want to pay for this? I went, yeah, fuck it. And I pressed the button and it said it's like 400, and I was like,
oh right, blimey.
Bit too much of a risk, that. But, but you could see a lot of work went into it. They clearly are not working with the best tools, but I was like, wow, that's actually okay, considering I picked it because it sounded so unbelievably shithouse. It's actually quite good.
Is it as good as Paintball, though?
Nothing is, but that's the best thing on Xbox Live indie games.
It's the best thing on Xbox.
It is. It is. There's no doubt. But yeah, Bureau Shattered Slipper. The demo is worth a go.
I might actually check that out.
You'd be surprised. I mean,
by what?
By how good it is. I mean, that's
okay.
It looks like crap, but I mean, it is.
That's fine.
It's crap, but it's good crap.
I like good crap. That's one of my favourite things.
Yeah, genuine.
Number six? Yes. Number 6. Batters. I don't even really want to talk about it that much. We played it. It's the same game as it always is. They announced Battlefield 4 in a really roundabout way. Some people got angry. Do you understand why they got angry? Why did they get angry?
No, I never really understand that. I mean, to be honest...
How dare they make a game? I don't get it.
I mean, when they announced Call of Duty Elite, I was always thinking, if I just paid for that for Modern Warfare 3, wouldn't I be annoyed if they, now that they're bringing out a whole new Call of Duty and there'll be a different service for that? But now we're going to get our money's worth out of premium.
Yeah, but it's a year's worth, isn't it, premium? And then this isn't going to be out for another year after that.
Well, the beta's not until autumn next year, so yeah, we've got time.
So it's probably 2.5 years away or something. 1.5. My maths has gone to shit. Yeah, it's not for ages.
It wouldn't. It's either going to be Respawn's shooter next, or it's going to be that. So it could be the end of next year to face off against COD once again.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that DICE aren't sort of calling the shots anymore. I'm sure that their attitude has always been it's finished when it's finished, but now they're playing a different ball game. So. Hopefully that doesn't hurt it, but we'll see.
I'm sure they'll just ramp up the production to what they need.
Yeah.
As and when.
I hope so.
Yeah. But yeah, Batters. I mean, Battlefield 3. There's no point talking about it. Until something happens.
Yeah.
There's point playing it, but
We had a great session of games though.
Yeah, well, I only came on at the end, didn't I?
Of course you did. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, good. Always when it's good, it's wonderful.
Yes, no doubt. Right, my number 6 is an Xbox Live indie game. What is it? Xbox Live indie game, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
X-League.
Hey, that's right. That's another one. Number 6. It's called, another one I picked because of the title, it's called The Rise of Gaddafish.
Gaddafish?
Gaddafish. It's...
I don't even know what to say about that.
From a company called Baller Industries.
What was that other company the other week?
Well, the little kid.
Yeah.
Screwing his mates over. Massive Holdings Incorporated.
Massive Holdings. Yeah, I prefer Baller Industries.
Baller Industries. It's a point. The story is some guy. It opens with a brief cutscene. Some guy changes his best mate into a fish for no reason. The fish jumps out the window, swims to Libya, jumps into Gaddafi's house, turns back into a man. Gaddafi, your goal is to take over Gaddafi's life. So the first thing you do is put on his suit. But he seems to be completely happy to let you do this. It's a point-and-click game, but every screen you're in only has like 1 or 2 things to do. So you'll fly through it, and 50% of it is try hard. I crazy kind of humour, and the other half is genuinely funny jokes. And after 4 or 5 minutes, I was like, I'm buying this. 80 points, forget it. It's for a few laughs it's given me, and for the few laughs I'm sure it'll give me for the rest of it. I'm going to shell out for it because it's genuinely funny, some of it. And then I got to a bit I couldn't get past. There's only 7 or 8 screens in the opening bit, but I did everything there was to do and I couldn't get past it. And I was pissing around for about 3 or 4 minutes, unable to get past anything. And then it said, "Do you want to pay for it?" And I was like, "Well, no, because I can't get very far." And it's funny. I think the main character's voiced by one of the guys who made the game, but the guy who voices Gaddafi they're lines that sound like they were delivered by a professional actor and recorded in a studio. So you've got Gaddafi dishing these lines out, and then you've got a little recording of a guy that sounds kind of like, doesn't sound very very professional at all. But the rise of Gaddafish.
It's an amazing name.
It is, and I'll tell you what, for a few chuckles. I mean, you don't even have to buy it because I laughed in the opening. Check it out.
Damn, that and Bureau Shattered Slipper. It's going to be a big week.
Well, have a look at them both.
Yeah,
at least.
So my number 5 is another point and click. Weirdly, it's a game called Ben There, Dan That. Have you heard of it?
No.
There's these 2 games, Ben There, Dan That, and Time Gentlemen Please, which are really popular indie games, British indie games that I've been hearing about for a couple of years and never played them. And on the Steam summer sale, the 2 of them together were 60p. So I thought my PC can just about handle some 2D hand-drawn art, I think, just about. So I bought them, and I played about maybe the first chunk, I'd say, of Ben There, Dan That, which is the first of the 2. And I guess if Edgar Wright made a LucasArts point-and-click adventure, that would be a good way of describing it, I think. It's about 2 guys, Ben and Dan. They live in a flat in London. They're kind of that kind of nerdy, wastery type of humour that is central to Spaced and all that sort of stuff. And then it just takes a turn for the surreals. Funny, genuinely funny throughout. Loads of game references, loads of movie and TV references, and loads of just funny gags. And just looking forward to playing it. I mean, it's cost me 30p as well.
I'm not really a fan of point-and-click games, but that sounds all right.
I'm not. I've decided to myself, if I get stuck for more than 2 minutes, I'm just game faxing it straight away. I don't want to get stuck. I just want to enjoy the story and the humour and the characters, really. So, yeah, that's my plan for those games.
That sounds interesting.
It's very cool.
The other one's a sequel, is it?
Yeah, Time Gentlemen Please, which I assume something about pubs. But already in this one, I've been abducted by aliens from. They start off, they're in their flat trying to watch Magnum PI, and they can't get the TV aerial to work, so you have to go around your flat finding things to jimmy a TV aerial together, and then you stick it out the window, but lightning hits it and you get abducted by aliens. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Interesting. That does sound interesting.
Yeah, it's wicked.
Considering I don't like that genre at all.
Yeah, I don't. But like I say, I like. What I've always liked about that genre are the characters, the stories, and the humour, and I've never really liked the gameplay that much. I like it when it flows and you don't get stuck, but when it just gets to those really obstinate moments where you're just combining out items over and over again, that can fuck off. So if I get to that situation, game facts all day.
Genuine. Okay. My number 5, thankfully, is not an Xbox Live indie game. It is Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on the Nintendo 3DS.
That's a stupid name.
It is. Have you ever played a Kingdom Hearts game before?
I fucking hate Goofy. I hate Goofy. I won't play anything with him in, so no.
I think that's a bit harsh, but...
I just hate the guy.
Why?
I hate everything about him. I hate his voice, I hate his face, I hate his style. I've hated him for years.
But he has done some funny stuff in the past. Have you just shut him out from a young age, so you've probably never seen him do amusing things, right? Why are we talking about this? Sorry. Do you know what kind of game Kingdom Hearts is?
I know the old ones were RPG.
Yes.
Action RPGs.
Yes. I didn't know that. For some reason, I assumed that they were platformers or something like that. And I have to say...
That's a fair assumption.
I've got to say, there feels something really dishonest and snide about it. It's not. I know it's not. It's just my reaction to it. But a mum walking through a shop and looking for a game for her kid, she'd think, that's Disney characters, I'll buy that. And it is the most relentlessly hardcore game. I can't remember the last time the opening hour, I felt like I was learning. You know those board games that come with Bible-sized instruction manuals.
Oh yeah.
It's just bombards you with stuff, so much stuff. Here's how to do this. Okay, here's how to do this. The combat's kind of weird because you have these charged projectile attacks, but they take a while to charge. And when they're charging, the button defaults to drink a potion. So you just end up drinking loads of potion by mistake. It's a lovely looking game. The 3D looks great. It opens with a boss battle with the villainess, I should say, from I think it's a Little Mermaid, and animated just like it is in the film. Really, looks beautiful. But then there's just all this stuff. There's different gameplay modes there's this one where you smash these barrels and you inexplicable stuff, and it doesn't explain very much. There's no spark in the dialogue. Stuff's going on, but it's normally when Nintendo localize Japanese games, they imbue everything with so much character, and there's none of that here. So I was just like, yeah. And then you get given these little things to help you in combat, and they're like Tamagotchi, so you have to nurture them and play with them like a Nintendog. And then the flow motion, which is this kind of combat, and then you have to create these. Honestly, there's so much to it, and it's given to you very dryly. So you're watching a cutscene, boom, a screen full of text. This is being filed away here, and then you've got like a filing system of stuff, of information.
Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
I was there just like maybe I'm just too tired. I need to come back to this because intermittently. I mean, I don't have to review it. Thankfully, so I don't have to plough on and really get to understand what it's about. But periodically, when I think I might knock this on the head, the combat feels really nice when you get it right, performing combos and using those little guys to help you, using the environment for this flow motion thing so you can swing round. You can just use the environment to pull off combos and stuff. And then there's some really neat platforming bits, but the world's drab. I haven't got into any of these Disneylands where some of it's set. And just the barrage of information, and every time you walk back you could kill a load of characters, walk 2 feet away, then walk back and they'll respawn again, and that just constantly happens, and it's just like I don't understand it. Maybe I'll go back to it.
It just sounds. I've never been put off more by a description. Everything that I hate on one game.
Same
and goofy.
I haven't seen any of that lot yet, which is what I mean. But I just thought, imagine a parent buying like a 3 or a 4-year-old child. Well, is that too young?
That's kids, pretty young. 3.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, even I'd say this will bewilder children of like less than 12. I'd say it's so in depth, but there's. I guess if you're a fan of that genre and if you're a fan of that series, they've probably stayed to. I assume the roots of it, Kingdom Hearts, are that. So. Because it was always quite a divisive game. I'd always see people arguing on forums and stuff about how much they loved and hated it. So this is probably in line with those. So if you like those, you'll probably like this. But yeah, I mean, it tried my patience a million times in the course of about 4 hours.
Makes me feel sick. Mm-hmm. My number 4 is Spelunky, my boy. I love it. It's so good. Such a good game. I got further than I've got before last time I played it. Got halfway through the second world. I'm probably worse at it than most people, but I don't care. It's kind of hard to add anything more to what I said than what I said last week. But have you got any questions about Spelunky? Is there anything you want to know?
Not really, because I want to decide what I want to sort of make. I have to get it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it is a platform game, but it's not really. It doesn't really require the skill set of most platform games. It's not really about jumping. A little bit it is. Timing space. Timing space? Rubbish. Judging distance and making good jumps and running fast or anything like that. It's more just about survival. It just happens to be in a platform game setting. And just all the crazy stuff that happens. Every single time I go through those first 4 levels, I see something new. And I've done them 50 times.
But it's all about being apprehensive about what's around the next corner.
Yeah, you're just, a spider might jump on your head, or you can see a bat coming, or stuff like that. But as I've done the first world so many times now, I'm pretty much, it's me making stupid mistakes, which is why I'm dying. But then I get to the second world, which is the jungle, and there'll be just some weird looking enemy, and you're like, can I even fuck with that? Can I hit that with my whip, or am I going to go near it? And then I try to jump on its head, ate me, dead. you're fucked. Sorry, back to the beginning with you.
So it's all about memorising attack patterns and where stuff is.
No, because it's always random. It's randomly generated every time, so it's nothing to do with remembering where stuff is. You do have to remember what each enemy that you encounter, how dangerous they are, but that's not difficult. There's like 4 different types of enemies in the whole first world, and if you see a spider and then you see a spider that's 5 times bigger than that, chances are that one's going to be more dangerous. So there's nothing. It's a really accessible, friendly game in many, many ways, and it begs you to play it, but then it kicks you in the arse off a cliff. But it's all about... It's hard to explain more than that, really. There's nothing about it that's difficult to understand. Yeah, there you go.
It sounds irritating as hell, though.
No, because the challenge is getting as far as you can. And every time you get further, it's a real accomplishment. There's a Demon Souls-esque to it, a Demon Souls sort of element to that.
I'm going to have to play it because I still don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the appeal could be at the moment. I'm just like, what? That doesn't sound entertaining in the slightest.
But every time you play it, it's a completely different experience. So you're seeing new things and doing new things. It's so much fun. I absolutely love it. But it's really hard to explain. And the trial isn't really the game.
Fuck, that's ridiculous. So you have to shell out if you want to...
No, you don't. You can play the free version on PC with the old style graphics, or on Mac. I'm sure it works on Mac. Just type in Spelunky and play it for free.
Oh, is that like a Flash version?
Yeah, it's an old web game.
Oh, exactly. I think the Xbox has got to have been updated.
Yeah, no, it's got much, much nicer graphics, and there's a multiplayer mode and stuff which I haven't even tried, and you can play it couch co-op, which I'm sure will be hilarious. But yeah, the old one's on there.
Interesting. All right, well, I'll have a look. I've got to have a look.
Mate, I would just shell out for it.
1,200.
Knowing you for as long as I do, I reckon I'd be amazed. I'd be amazed if you hated it.
Okay, 12. Oh, right, fuck it. Yeah, Tony Hawk's out this week, though, isn't it?
It is.
That's got to be bought.
Yeah.
Although I have to shell out for the other DLC as well, which is
a
pain in the neck. Okay, right. My number 4 is Inversion on the PS3.
Sticking with it.
Yeah, it's just I like it. It ambles along and it's amiable, lo-fi way. It's very pleasant. I mean, it's Gears light. It's Gears shite, but it's not quite shite. The one thing that's happened over the course of the last few hours that I've played is that the gravity is kind of just becoming almost pointless. I don't use it unless there's a puzzle, and there aren't really that many puzzles. Some of the Dead Space zero gravity floaty aroundy stuff is better as it goes on, and there's some really good action set pieces where you're actually engaged in combat and doing that. But yeah, it is enjoyable, and if you at this time of year co-op, it's not a full price game. They've released it for less than full whack. It's entertaining, and I like how meat-headed it is, and it's not special, but I'm enjoying it. It's just done. But like I said, the gravity, as it gets further and further along, you're just like, I'm not using this. There's no point. There's rarely ever any call to use it because the AI is so stupid. You often don't have to drag it out of cover, which I assume was the primary idea behind it. But it's
just shoot them.
Just because they pop their heads out every 2 seconds anyway. But yeah, it's fine and entertaining. And if you like shooters, there's no reason not to have a pop at it.
Yeah, probably be about 40p in a week anyway.
That's true.
Seeing as it charted it failed to make the top 50 or hit 50 or something.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, really.
My number 3, game I talked about last week. Thomas Was Alone.
Oh yeah.
I finished it. Absolutely magnificent game. Beautiful. Genuinely touching. A game about blocks, about fucking quadrilaterals and rectangles. Brilliant music, brilliant writing, very, very good puzzles. The occasional little frustrating bit, there's a slight latency in the controls, which I don't know if that's a part of the game or my PC, but it seems to be that it is a problem with the game. It's nothing that really affects your enjoyment. It's just slightly frustrating. The odd tiny little glitch, but for whatever the hell it was, £5-6, it's going to be in my top 5 of the year, definitely. And probably one of the best scores I've heard in a game.
Was this part of the Steam sale as well?
No. This was just bought off his own site, the guy Mike Bithell, his own wherever he said the thing that he's selling it. I don't really understand all this. I feel like an old man talking about this sort of stuff, but yeah, just buying it from him basically.
Is it available on Mac?
Yes,
it is.
Yes, and there's a demo as well, free demo.
I think you probably answered that last week.
I think I mentioned it, but I don't think you asked me directly.
Okay.
But yeah, it feels like a Valve game. It feels like something the people who made Portal would have made when in their spare time. That's the best thing I can say about it. I think the guy works for Mind Candy full time. You know, the people who do that Moshi Monsters thing. Are you even aware of what that is?
I'm aware of it. I don't understand what it is.
Yeah, it's way too old for that. But yeah, I think he does that in a day. I think. Apologies if I'm wrong. And then this is what he's done in his spare time. You know, his art projects, and yeah, brilliant. And I guess he knows Danny Wallace somehow, who's done the narration very, very well.
How long?
Loved it.
How long did it take to complete?
Yeah, it's actually quite long. It's probably between 6 and 8 hours.
Wow. Okay.
There's 100 levels, but the story just keeps ramping up, and it keeps flipping itself on its head, and the new characters get introduced, and they're all brilliantly conceived for what are rectangles. And you look at a game like Inversion. I like Inversion, and the characters there, and all the money that's gone into making that game, and he, within one level and 3 rectangles, pisses on all of the characterization in a game like that, with in the space of 30 seconds.
I'm going to have to look into that.
I really would. I think I talk about a lot of these games, and some of them I don't think that you'd enjoy, but this one I think it's right up the street.
Yeah.
It's funny, it's easy. I never got stuck or anything like that. It's clever, makes you think in a Portal-y type way, but it's never as tricky as Portal, I wouldn't say. But
what was the damage?
I think it's £6.
Okay, that sounds reasonable enough.
$5.99, and it's what when you're more than happy to give your money over to someone who's yeah. You don't feel like you're feeding some corporation. Not that I've got anything particularly against that either, but when some guys made something so personal clearly, and yeah, you can chuck them some money, and it's not pretentious. That's the other thing. It's arty and clever and funny, but it's not up its own arse like some of these games. Fez being the obvious example. It's just friendly and amiable and likeable and funny.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put that near the top of the list. Although I said something about putting something to the top of the list that was something else I can't remember.
The good thing about it is it will be timeless. So whether you play it this week or whether you play it in 2014, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right, good to know. My number 3 is Saints Row the Third.
Oh right.
It's been sitting on my shelf. I will eventually complete that game, but I dread to think when, because I love just doing it in bite-sized chunks, and I really do think it's fantastic, and I love almost everything about it. I really liked Saints Row the first one. Saints Row 2 was there was something. I remember something didn't. It was just a little bit too nasty in places, and it was sketchy as hell technically. Yeah. Saints Row 3 just I think they nailed it. I can't imagine going back to Grand Theft Auto when that comes out, because it's just I want everything. I love when shit goes wrong in Saints Row the Third, and you end up with the 4-star rating, and there's helicopters and those beasts coming after you, and you just end up. I mean, repeatedly, I ended up backed into a corner with what looked like 600 NPCs trying to squeeze through this shop door to kill me, and helicopters flying around. And normally that would be so annoying, but it's just such a daft, stupid game, but so fun. It's so fun. I will complete it. I'm doing it bit by bit. I'm buying up bits of a certain part of the city, and I'm doing mission. It's just I think it's fantastically enjoyable. And personally, going back to something as serious as Grand Theft Auto after this, I'd be interesting to see if how that goes, because at the moment this is the sandbox for me.
Yeah, so I didn't really get on with it.
What?
Yeah, you know that though.
No, I didn't.
I liked some of its ideas, and some of its set pieces were really fun, but I just found it too flaky to play, and it's just kind of ugly, and
no,
yeah, I didn't. But I don't really care about being able to do loads of crazy shit in the sandbox. I like detail. I really like GTA. So
do I, but I like that this is a cartoon. I've just unlocked this massive attack helicopter. So whenever I do a job, it's just sitting there on my roof, and I just fly it and can cause carnage on my way. It's just it's. I like that. I like that. Normally, I'm not one of those people. A lot of people, I remember when Grand Theft Auto 3 first came out, they just like, I don't even play the missions. I just run around causing trouble. And I'm like, I don't understand the entertainment in that. But when it is part of the game, and when you can still complete a mission with all this chaos going around you and then get the fuck out of Dodge, that's so satisfying. And I do find bits of it genuinely funny, and I think I made a fantastic choice. I wasn't sure at first, but I picked the voice, because you have 4 or 5 I think choices of who's going to voice your character, and I picked the Cockney Jason Statham sound alike. And that actor, his delivery, the longer the game's gone on, I'm just like, he knows exactly what he's doing. A lot of the time, there's not a lot of actors, and the creators of the game don't seem to have conveyed their ideas very, very eloquently between each other, because one guy's doing one thing and blah blah blah. But he's on the same page, and his delivery is just really funny. But yeah, I love it. I really do love it.
Yeah, I do love the idea of it. I don't want to come across as poo-pooing that element of it, but yeah, it just didn't. I think I was really excited for what it was going to be, and I love stuff that's that daft, but it just didn't really sit mechanically. It didn't really sit well with me.
Shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. But maybe one day I will go back to it. Maybe one day. Maybe I was just tired.
Yeah.
You get tired at the end of the year in games.
No, yeah. And that came in the middle of.
It was sort of right at the end. I think it was the last one of last year. It was like right at the back end of November after everything.
That probably sounds about right. But yeah, there was so much to play at that point.
Yeah. So maybe. But who's got time?
Indeed.
Who's got time? I've got no time anyway, because all I do is play New Star Soccer, number 2.
Blimey.
Yeah, I play for Man United. I won the Champions League with Chelsea and then transferred to Man United. I'm awesome. I get loads of money every game. I've got a helicopter. And I still can't stop playing it.
How old are you in the game now?
26.
Oh, that was quick. You were only 20 last week.
Yeah, I played a lot.
Fuck, so...
Actually, last week I said I was 20, but I looked afterwards and I was 22.
Oh, right,
so,
okay.
Yeah, not quite as much. But, I've been absolutely caning it last few nights.
So where does the drama come from if you're at the top of the tree?
Well, that's where I'm wondering now, because I haven't won the league yet, but I have now won the Champions League, and it's looking like we might win the league this year with Man United. So then... Well, I've just been called up by England as well, so there's that. So I still think I've got a few seasons left of potential glory. But then it might lose its appeal a bit, but still for 69p.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Really. And there's DLC, isn't there?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's doing the update with the new, like, you can bring the ball out of the air and stuff like that, and yeah, it should change it. And God knows, I mean, I'm sure he'll make a sequel, and that game could be amazing, because there's so many clear ways of improving it, which don't spoil what the game is at the moment, but you can just see so many cool new ideas that he'll probably think about and put in for the next one. Man, scary even thinking about it.
Fair play to the man.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, my number 2 is SSX.
Oh yeah, you said you were playing it a lot.
Because last Saturday was just a gift. I had nothing to do for the first half of the day, not until the late afternoon. I was free, I had nothing to do, and it was pissing down with rain. I was like, that is prime guilt-free gaming time. So I stuck SSX. It
sounds like something I'll never experience again.
And first thing on SSX, it was on for the best part of the morning, and it's just, I can't quite overstate how highly I regard it. I really can't. That the Rydernet system, the natural progression from autolog in Need for Speed. Whenever I turn Need for Speed Hot Pursuit on, it's kind of like because it's only friends. With Rydernet, and the fact that there's just all this buzzing stuff going on. There's always stuff going on, and as soon as you log in, you get your credits that you won for doing so well in a tournament, and then you enter a few more, and they're always going. And then it's. I even did a couple of the missions. The campaign missions, the Deadly Descents, and it was all right. They're not the game, but they're entertaining enough. It's all about learning where everything is and stuff. But the multiplayer, I hope it influences so much. It deserves to influence every multiplayer game going somehow, because that system is so. It's just, you feel like you're part of this really, really vibrant community, and it's just, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I never really got back into it. I just.
You didn't even really play online though, did you?
Not really, but I played so much beforehand for reviews and things like that I just never got the impetus to put it back on, which is nothing to do with the game. It's just me. But yeah, it's a shame because I thought the game was awesome.
Yeah, a masterpiece. I honestly, when I have to evaluate what the 10 best games of the year, that's going to be. It's going to be rather high.
It's going to be in arguing with the big boys.
Yeah, no question. I love it.
Is this my number one now?
Yep.
So, remember a few weeks ago, I played Sleeping Dogs, but I couldn't really talk about it, so I just talked like an idiot. Well, now I can, I think. Yes, I can. So, my number one is Sleeping Dogs, a game that I played a fair old amount of on the preview build. You know about Sleeping Dogs, right? We talked about it before.
Yeah.
Open world, Hong Kong. You play as an undercover agent called Wei. The dialogue is grating. I find it's trying to be a serious story where it really shouldn't be, because once you get into the game, it's just all action all the time, and all the game stuff I really like. The story stuff, not so much. And do people really care about Hong Kong cinema anymore? It's not 2001, but I don't know, maybe. Anyway, when you get out into the streets, it's tremendously good fun to play. The combat is Batman Arkham City, basically, just that.
But you can interact with. Weren't you saying about like diving over stuff and running, like parkour? Did you just mention parkour last time you spoke about it?
I do. I'll get to the parkour in a second. If you're in a ruck, it's Batman, but with more environmental stuff. So there's things around the environment. You can grapple a guy and just smash his head into a thing, or slam his head in a car door or something like that. But it's all counter based, and a really cool little thing about it is as you're doing well, you'll get a little bonus because all the enemies around you start to fear you, and they'll react to you differently because you're just like taking out 3 guys without getting hit. So that's cool, and you get a bonus, you get power bonus, and they back off. That's cool. And then there's the parkour stuff. You can run around the environment, vault through everything, scale up walls really quickly, like a Hong Kong action star. And then the shooting's just a cover shooter basically, but just really quick, kind of nice, snappy aiming. And then there's stuff in vehicles, shooting on the back of motorbikes, where it uses slow-mo, so you can just shoot stuff really quickly. But it can all flow together. You can have all of that in one mission with no gaps. So you fight some guys, run off, and then you slide straight into cover and you're shooting. It's all the same game. And then after you shot the guys, you leap straight onto a motorbike and you're flying off chasing these people. That's the thing that they've been talking about the most about the game, and that is by far the most impressive thing about the game, and it's really, really good fun. It really is fun.
So everything apart from the story works then?
Yeah, I mean, the story's fine in terms of what the story actually is, but it's just a bit... when dialogue just feels the need to have the word fucking in every single sentence, and just... Tom Wilkinson's in it as like your boss, and he just feels like he's come in hungover. It's just like, oh, I'll do this, I suppose, as long as you buy me lunch. Yeah, I know, it's got loads of people in it. I can't remember if I'm allowed to speak about who it is or not. Quite a lot of famous people are in it, sort of at that level of fame. It's definitely an expensive production. I can see at one point, you can see how it was at one point Activision's GTA, because there is at points that level of detail. Like there was one point early on where you're walking through the Hong Kong market, and there's a hell of a lot going on. Everything's hustling and bustling. There's all sorts of different people with unique animations. When you bump into people, you move them out of the way, like in Assassin's Creed, to actually feel like there's sort of a tangible, physical nature to the city, as opposed to most of those games you kind of glitch through people or just shift to the side. But also, I must say, when I was playing the preview build, the stuff like the driving, there's massive pop-in in the city, some real technical issues, so hopefully that'll all be sorted before it comes out next month, I think.
Yeah.
But very cool. I hope it does. I hope it ends up being a game that does well for Square Enix, because they took the punt in saving it, really.
Yeah, there's at least one guy at Activision hoping it flops, because otherwise he's going to get fucking cut.
Right. Yes. But But at the same time, I don't think it would have done the numbers that Activision would have required for one of their franchises. So, yeah, I think I said this last week, but it could be a good bit of business all round. And yeah, it's really cool. It's the type of game that I'd have loved back on PS2 days when I loved anything like that. So yeah, it reminds me of a really good PS2 game, but not in a negative way.
Is the structure of the missions, the way it deals out missions, is it GTA?
Yeah,
it
definitely is of that ilk. But because you're an undercover cop, there's some quite cool things you can do with your cell phone in terms of like tracking and tracing people and locating potential contacts through like syncing up telephone masts and things like that, using your phone, triangulating signals and things like that. It has a few of its own ideas as well in that regards. But a lot of it is go to a mission giver, get a mission. But I think the actual fundamental playing of those missions could be some of the most fun in that genre.
That actually sounds really promising.
Yeah, it's fun as fuck. It's going to be a bit rough around the edges here and there, and like I say, the dialogue isn't very good, but I'm looking forward to playing it.
Okay, cool. That sounds really interesting. Really promising. Cool. Good. Okay, right. My number one is Battlefield 3.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
We just had an unbroken run of the last 30 matches I've had with my friends have been just absolutely phenomenal. We haven't had shitheads. We haven't had shitheads to deal with. We haven't had wank servers. We've just had a prolonged slew of absolutely fantastic matches on Battlefield. And when it's like you said, when it works, it's just glorious.
It is.
And that's that.
That is that. And that is that.
That is that.
Yeah. Do you know what? We said we were going to do 40 minutes this week, and we haven't, have we? That robot's going to be mad at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, as always, for listening. 22 episodes in now. That's my favourite number. So, good times. And, you can check us out on the website, as always, thefiniteplaylist.com. We've got the Twitters, John Denton, Chet Roivers. We've got Stitcher, still don't know what it is. iTunes. You know all the stuff by now. So that's it. See you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, Zimos.
Shh, don't wake the bitches.
You don't waste time.
Well, if you chewing on a ball gag with a horse tail up your ass for a few years, I think you'd want to unwind too.
Fair enough.
I'm guessing you ain't come here for the pussy.
Wanted to play it, and I tell a lie, I didn't play it. I watched him play the opening 40 minutes, I'd say, and I was reminded just how utterly magnificent that game is. Every inch of its, I was going to say mise en scène. I don't really want to say it, but I can't think. Every inch of whatever. So I said it now. The puzzles, the wit, the script. Everything about it. I don't know if I'm going to play it again now. I will play it again one day, but it was just nice to just see it again in action and watch, a young kid's face be lit up by such a magnificent piece of work.
It is a masterpiece, and it's still sitting on my shelf, and I will go through it again. I'm still hoping they're going to drop another free DLC pack on us, but seems a bit unlikely at this point. But you can never put that past Valve. It's always it's always possible. But yeah, that game's a masterpiece. I'm coming up to a point where I need to go through it again, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think I will join you.
My number 8 is some film I watched in the last week. Ha ha. Because you just watched that. Never mind.
Fucking hell, that was worse than my Apple joke.
My number 8 is 37 Days to Die. on Xbox Live Arcade. No, sorry, Xbox Live Indie Games.
You're all about indie games this week.
Going on, downloading that Applejack game reminded me that when that service first came out, I mean, you and I did it all the time. We just download 5 or 6. One of them might be pretty surprisingly good, but you're guaranteed 3 of them are going to be hilariously funny.
Yeah.
So I found the picture of the main screenshot for 37 Days to Die was 2 women, but they looked kind of like men just because the artwork wasn't very good. So I thought, is that going to be a part of it? I don't know. Actually, the artwork in the game is very good. It's just...
Where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 22 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name is Chet Rovers. With me as usual is John Denton.
Hello.
John and I write about games for a living, so we play a lot of them, and over the next indeterminate amount of time we're going to take it in turns to go through our 2 separate top 10 list of the 10 games we've been playing over the past 7 days. 10's the game we've been playing the least, number 1's the game we've been playing the most, and hopefully it's going to be current and stuff. So John, number 10.
My number 10 is Electronic Arts Mixed Martial Arts, a game that sporadically appears on my top 10 list. I was playing it with my little nephew this weekend, who came round and likes to stick on as many games as he can in the space of about 20 minutes because he's got no attention span. And I think I might have converted him to the fine art of violence and fighting.
How do you handle a situation like that? Don't you just have to let him win?
Yeah, I kind of did let him win a few and then beat him on a few, but it's one of those games that you don't mind losing on because it's just funny every time whatever happens. Yeah. So we were just beating the tar out of each other. He's not so young that he can't play. He's like 12 as well, so he's not so young that he's incapable of playing.
Okay, fair enough. It's annoying because that's on my shelf, and one day I'd like to say let's have a match online, but it sucks that we can't do that.
Happen.
That's a real shame. It's still great then, I take it.
Yeah, I'll play it every time I see someone who wants to play it until UFC.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, my number 9 is Applejack 2 on the Xbox 360. Did you see the review on Eurogamer?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
Isn't that's probably the first... I can't remember a time where an Xbox Live indie game has got front of site space, like a prominent review on a site like Eurogamer, ever, I don't think.
No, maybe at the very beginning when it first launched. I'm guessing that's just purely guesswork, but no, not that I can remember.
Yeah, it was. So that was a surprise, and it got 9 out of 10. So I downloaded it. I don't know anything about the first Applejack game, but this is basically Super Mario 2, the Western version of Super Mario 2, which is Doki Doki Panic.
Oh yeah.
It looked, even the menu screen is the box art from the game, but with a guy with an apple for a head. And it's really nice. It's you jump on enemies, you pick them up, you throw them at other enemies, and I did the free trial, which was about 10 minutes long. There was some really smart puzzles. There was a nice, humorous intro. It seemed really nice. But when it came up and said, "Do you want to pay 80?" I mean, 80 points is nothing. It's like the price of an app. And at the time, I thought, if this was an app and I could play it on my phone, that'd be fine. So I didn't go for it. But the more I thought about it, it was nice to play a platformer on a control pad. Because nowadays most platformers, you end up playing them on a phone, and it's not a perfect fit. So I might go back and actually download it because it seemed like a smart little game. Yeah,
if you've got 80 points hanging around.
That's just shrapnel, isn't it? That probably equates to the same price as something on the App Store, doesn't it?
I'm sure it does.
Very good from what I played, I have to say.
Applejack 2.
Yeah.
One for the core gamers.
Indeed. Oh dear. I did.
My number 8 is Portal 2.
Oh.
Portal 2. Again, the nephew.
Actual kick, and it's like, knock your opponents out with this move. They're 320 Microsoft points each.
Oh my god.
And there's plenty of them, and it's just like, no thank you. That's even worse than that bloody Wrecked situation where it brought out DLC on day one. I mean, rubbish.
That's really bad.
You should have a look at it. Maybe you'll...
Yeah, no, I didn't even realise it was out. It was announced, and then I first heard of it when I was watching the Stream 3-3, and then immediately the EA conference followed, and Dana White came out and announced the big deal, and those people making that Bellator game must have just been like, oh man.
You might find something enjoyable.
Yeah, I'll definitely download the trial and all the special moves.
Yeah, indeed. Although you'd need to buy the full version to use those, wouldn't you?
Oh yes, very true. My number 9 is a game that we have played probably too much in our lives, Tower Blocks Deluxe.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot it existed, and I just was skimming through my games on Xbox and saw it was there, and I was like, yeah, I'll have a go. And yeah, it's just the same fucking banal shit that it always was, but completely compelling nonetheless. If you haven't played it, you have to stack a massive tower of yellow blocks by pressing A as a crane swings them overhead. So you have to line it up for the middle, press A, boom, another one. You can go all the way up through the air, up through the stratosphere, into space, and it gets quite tense and stressful. It's fun. But yeah, not something that you should spend as much time as we probably have on.
That through no fault of our own, it is that gripping though. It can compel an entire room of people like nothing else. So it's hard to hate it. It's just a ridiculously simple idea. Even having a look at it could descend into a couple of hours lost. So I try and
I only had one game and turned it straight off. Because I didn't want to get sucked in again. Yeah. He comes out whenever that might be. But that team knows what they're doing, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, some people prefer UFC. A lot of people, in fact, but not me. Not me, sir. Not me.
Okay. All right, my number 10, funnily enough, is Bellator MMA Onslaught.
Oh shit, is that out?
It is, yeah.
Shit, why don't I have it? Are you going to tell me why I don't have it?
Yeah, you really don't want it. It's. I only did the demo.
Yeah.
It's the UFC games, but dumbed down a million times. Everything looks primitive. It's stripped down visually. It's not very nice. It's simplistic as hell. It's unresponsive. It's ugly. It's a rubbish MMA game. What is Bellator?
It's now the second biggest promotion in America. It was quite a small promotion, and then the second biggest one got bought by the UFC. The Japanese one died, so yeah, they're the second biggest now. Fighting a round cage. They do tournaments, tournament structure with like weekly fights. It's quite good, to be honest. It's quite good, but it's hard to keep up with. There's so much MMA out there.
Yeah. When I saw the names of the two playable fighters, I assumed it was like developers who'd buffed themselves up and they were just appearing as themselves. But I didn't realise.
I'm sure it wasn't.
No, I guess it must be real people in that case. First of all, even if you really are obsessed with MMA and you think, what the hell, I might as well, I want the game, I'll get some enjoyment out of it, because it is, but it's like button bash, very simplistic, but it's 1,200 points, and it shouldn't be 1,200 points, like a lot of things that are just slapping that price tag on Xbox Live stuff. That shouldn't be that much, but it's all very punchy, kicky, very simplistic. And then I checked what the downloadable content was, and you have to buy moves.
Oh no!
Everything's simple punches and kicks until you can buy a spinning back fist. You can buy a special